So let's have a look at the methodology or how it works. So this is the home page. You can see here on the here the name of the different modules that I told you about. So we are here on the home page. It's a screenshot of the tool. So the tool is tailored at country level. In the example here, we were going to run analysis in Ghana. So the first information that you provide to the tool is the country. Already when you provide this information, the tool knows that you are going to be in the UN regional classification of, it will know the UN regional classification and also the regional IPCC classification for livestock. It will also know the major soils categories that are present in the country. This is useful because you need to know this information when you want to do a GID analysis. So you have, let's say, when you enter a country here, the tool will be already set specifically for this country. You will have the type of climates, of soils, of livestock categories as reported to the FAO stat. You would have the blue carbon economy ecosystem, also. So already you have a tailored made, let's say, a tool. And yeah, let's stop here. And then second information. So first information that you need to provide is the country. Second information, you'll need to know when you're going to start your analysis. As I said, we provide a 30 years time series. So whatever is the number that you put here over, like on the overall base year line here, it will then set the tool from this year up to 30 years after. So it will give you the time range in which you can make run analysis. So in this example, we had a project starting in 2018 with other projects, if I remember correctly, that were going to be implemented later on. But the first one was to be implemented starting in 2018. So we put 2018 for that purpose here. So this is the second information. And then third information is the IPCC main methodology. We have two of them in the tool, the IPCC 2006 with the 2013 supplements, and the IPCC 2019 with the IPCC 2013 supplements on wetland. So this is useful because depending on the methodology that is used in the country, you may want to align on the one used in national reports. So you have the choice between these two. You may also want to see the differences when using one methodology or the other one, like in some of the estimates for fire are not present, are only present in the IPCC 2019 methodology, for instance. So depending on what you're going to assess, you may also rather use one than the other. And then the fourth information is the global warming potential that you're going to use. We usually use the one recommended by the ETF, so the UNFCCC, so the RR5 without climate carbon feedback. I even think that in the last version that you downloaded, the other option with climate carbon feedback is no longer possible to select because we chose to put the one that is recommended by the UNFCCC. So the one that you see here, the without climate carbon feedback. So these are the four main information that you provide to the tool when you start the analysis. The country, when do you want to start the analysis, what is the main methodology that you want to use, and the global warming potential that you want to use. With that already, the tool knows the tier 1 values that it's going to use, depending on where you're going to implement the project, the type of, as I say, climate and soils and so on that you're going to be enabled to use. So we're going to see the 4 dimensions of the tool. The first is the climate and soil dimension. What is very useful in Next, I hope that you see well the screen, that it's not too small. We provide, like, it can exist up to 96 combinations of mineral, soil, and climate according to the IPCC classifications. So it means that you can have the need to make in one country up to 96 different combinations. With the tool, we created in a way that it's more flexible. You don't have to say at the beginning of the like in the main parameters, you don't have to say anything about the climate and the climate and the soil. You will do it per line that you enter in the tool that you will see later. For instance, here in Ghana, you may have, if you're going to reforest here, make restoration activities, you may have tropical moist forest combined with I don't see, sorry, my up, with LAC soil here. But then if another part of the program is going to be developed on that part, you will have a tropical rainforest with combined with HAC or /LAC type of soil. So you really have this different combination, and on each policy that you are going to implement and you want to assess together, you may have many different types of combination, and that will be able in one file to provide all these different combination. You don't have to open a new file every time that you have a new combination. You can just say every time that you're making reference to one, like in one line, you just explain what is the context, and you can make a different, you can choose different context in the next line. So this is the first aspect of the tool, the climate and soil dimension. Then the time dimension, you can start analysis and make it end, like for a project, you can start at different moment and end at different moment. So for instance, you have here the project 4B starting in 2022, going until 2033. Then you have the 3B from 2034 to 2043. So you can really have in one file many combination of time, and then assess that all together and see the impact in the long term all together, not having to separate each analysis and then combine them somehow. You can just give every information of each project to the tool, and it will combine everything. So this is the second dimension, the time dimension. Then the dynamic of implementation. This one is important because depending on how you implement, linearly, gradually, or whatever assumption you take, the results will be very different. So these are the type of implementation dynamics that you may choose. First, the linear, you assume, for instance, that you're going to make a restoration project and you're going to restore every year the same amount of hectares. So you want to see the estimate by using this hypothesis. You may also say it will most likely follow a S-curve, because we will first organize the project, then we will do as much as possible in a few years, and then the last most difficult hectares to convert will be dealt with at the end of the project implementation. So you may follow this trend, this S-curve. You can also say it's going to follow most likely an exponential dynamic for whatever reason, and the most useful one, is the user dynamic that you see here. So the user dynamic allows you to say exactly every year how many hectares you converted, how many increase in livestock population you've had, how many hectares of deforestation you've had. So this is really the dynamic that you can use when you want to do monitoring, not only projection. You say, I know for a fact what happened in my project, in the country. I have these numbers. I'm going to give them to the tool, and I will have an understanding of the impact of what we did so far. So as I said, Next can be used for different purposes. You have here an example of project analysis that was conducted in Madagascar. Some portion of the project were aiming at reducing deforestation. Some were aiming at changing forest management practices, some land restoration, changes in agriculture management practices. I don't exactly remember specifically what it was, but for you to understand the importance of having a vision at the cumulated vision of the estimates and the annual GHG emissions. These are the two same projects. You have on the left the cumulated estimates, and on the right you have the annual estimates. As you can see, at some points the mitigation potential decreases. You stabilize more or less the impacts of the project that you're going to implement. And as you have some fires in the agriculture, like the way you manage, agriculture. Sorry, I'm missing the word. Residue management. If you use a fire in residue management, you will have some estimates then that will be higher than the potential, like here, than the potential of mitigation. So this is just to show you that it's interesting to have this vision in annual estimates, because you may see that in the future, what you wanted to implement will not be enough, let's say, to have this long-term mitigation potential. At some point it will decrease, and you may want to think longer term and say, okay, what can I change? Here the same thing you can see in the NDC analysis for Bangladesh, that at some point what's going on afterwards, they will not be able to know. They already have, like, I think the period of implementation, yes, it was 2020 to 2030, but at some point you have this, like, the highest mitigation potential will be reached in 2031, will stabilize for 10 years, and at some point soils will reach equilibrium over time, and you will decrease the mitigation potential of the policies that you want to implement. So this is why you need, or the tool can help you have this long-term vision, because you have this way of understanding, okay, what's going on afterwards and what can I do if I want to keep that track. For instance, here we did the LTS analysis for Cambodia, and we helped them having this long-term vision up to 2050 in their mitigation potential, in the mitigation pathway, or low carbon pathway, sorry, that they could have. So this is an example in use. The application, these are the countries in which we, or with which we worked for project analysis, for trainings, for NDC analysis. So yes, you have an idea more or less on which country or which context we worked for. Mostly when we work with a government country, whatever ministries, we do an analysis of the NDC, then we provide a training on how to use the tool, so they can also work alone then with the tool and calculate themselves the mitigation potential of their policies, and plan policies as they use the tool. So we're really trying to do capacity building and not the tool must be used by the user, not by us for the user. So we really hope by doing trainings that people can then be more independent and really use it for their specific purposes.